So Aaron Virola,
What's up, dude?
when we change friends from work to the Yeehaw and Yankee show, we still gonna do this intro? Let's chat.
Everybody, come on, let's get down. Get down.
All I know, dude, is we got to figure out a way to keep Freak Bass's music.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it doesn't say anything. Like, doesn't say friends from work. Good.
No,
now.
it's just a fucking groove. I love it. Oh, yeah. I F-bombed right out of the gate on this one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
F-and groove.
That's it. We're gonna keep the PG-13 rating, right? You only get one F-bomb per
show. Well, I've got the Yeehaw and Yankee show, dude. Yeah. We may need a live. Remember the old live shows where they would shows that were truly live. You have to somebody was having to beep.
Yeah,
they anticipated, or maybe there was a little bit of a delay.
A little bit, like a 5-second, 10-second delay.
Yeah, I guess they had to, right? Because there's no way they were fortune tellers. But the Yeehaw and Yankee show, I like it.
Yeah, me too. It's got a little flavor to it.
We're gonna rebrand this thing. I'm gonna have a better camera. Still in my multi-million-dollar studio.
Yeah.
I'm coming at you live from a Houston, Texas suburb. Where are you at?
Long Island, sir.
Long Island,
New York.
Yeah. That's right. So, hence the name. All right, tell everybody, where are you from?
Originally, I'm a New Yorker for sure, but originally from the Bronx. Hence the Yankee term, because go Yanks. So I'm from New York all over. Lived in the Bronx for a bit. Lived in Westchester. Lived up in that just kind of stuff. If you're a New Yorker, you know all those places. If you don't, then you probably are from upstate New York. But lived in Queens, and now I'm 10 years plus over here in Long Island. So it's cool.
I thought New York was just Times Square.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, for everyone else, it is. That's where everyone else wants to go. Oh, I'm gonna go to Times Square. I'm gonna go see the tree.
Here's what I'll say. In the 15 times I've now been in New York, I guess. Is that right? I've been a lot. Maybe not 15. I don't know, dude. I've been a lot. Hell, I've seen you there 3 times, right?
Yeah.
I still love going to Times Square. There's an energy there. It's center of the universe. Plus, it's Broadway.
I'm done.
Well, Broadway to me is not tourism. I go see live theater in Dallas or here in Houston or wherever. It's just Broadway. But yeah. Plus,
it's like you got to go to other places, man. You spend some time in
Meatpacking
and
go
to Flushing, Queens, stuff like that.
I had a buddy. It was funny. He was talking to me yesterday, and David Medekine. He came into Houston and was visiting me from Dallas, which is funny. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be in Dallas all next week. We can hook up there. But it was still really, really good to see him. And he had just got back from New York, first time he's ever been. Midwest guy originally, right? Grew up outside of Chicago, but he loved it. He even told me, he said, I was surprised how much I like New York. I said, really? He goes, yeah, dude. I ended up at this bar in Hell's Kitchen. I go, love Hell's Kitchen. He goes, yeah, it was great. They were giving away free hot dogs. I was like, dude, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there with Drew Baca and Eric Holzman.
Oh, that's funny.
And I had my stepdaughter and Jen and I were all there together. And they were
awesome.
You know what I'm talking? Do you know the place?
I don't know the bar, but maybe I do. If you said it,
I mean,
maybe I've been there. I don't.
And maybe
I probably would know. I'm a sucker for a hot dog, so I love me some hot dogs.
Maybe there's more than one bar in Hell's Kitchen that's giving away free hot dogs, dude.
I don't know,
but they were giving away hot dogs, and that was their deal. That was their
shtick. You buy a drink, you get a dog.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's it. You're a paying customer, you get a dog.
That's right.
But anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. Of all the bars, he stumbles into that one.
That's funny.
Anyway,
there's a lot of places like that, man. Hole in the wall spots are they just serve really good stuff, man. It's like a good experience.
The only thing I don't understand is a dive bar like that, and I see their drink prices cheap, especially for New York.
Yeah. How
do they pay that rent there, man?
Who knows, man? There's a lot of places that get grandfathered in to whatever, and then some places that are actually like there's a place I used to go to down in Hudson Street. It was called Antarctica. It was it's like a staple. It's like one of the oldest pubs in all of New York, and I think it's like a historical site. So
is that right? Well, that's cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just even here in Texas, square footage is outrageous.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in DFW or Houston, Austin area. insane. I would assume New York has got to be a lot more. I can remember looking at an apartment in New York, dude. It's funny to say it now because it's not going to sound as expensive as it was then. So I would need to account for inflation, but it was like in 1999. I remember it was like a 1,600 square foot. I'm sorry, it was $1,600 a month for like a. I don't even know the square footage of this thing. Tiny, dude.
Is it like a 1-bedroom or was it like a studio?
Oh, not even a. You shared a shower with 2 other. Where was that?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I was trying to get into. Almost went to a school there. I don't remember, dude. It's been so long. It was just one of my early New York ventures when I was trying to figure out a way to be there. And I did West Coast instead. Anyway, we're babbling as we all do. Hey, let's dive into this thing. It's a Sunday morning, and all right. So here's the deal. I had an assignment. I just finished Skeleton Crew this morning because I was 2 episodes behind. I was traveling for work. I was in San Diego. I was just all over the place. I don't like watching these shows on my phone or in a hotel room, dude. I want to be on my couch. I just do.
Yeah.
So I'll wait. And so I waited and finished episode 7 last night, and then I watched 8 today, and kind of revisit a little bit of 7. I think that might be my favorite episode, actually. I really enjoyed 7. That. Yeah, that was great.
When he gets into the vault.
When he gets into the vault, because it's also it's an interesting turn of Jude Law too.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated episode 8 actually a lot more than I
did too.
Thought I would.
What's the symbolism of the show? What's the symbolism of episode 8? The ending.
What do you mean?
I'm asking you. It ends like, is it saying that they're all kind of Matrix X-esque free now?
Oh, I got maybe.
You know what I mean?
I mean, who knows?
The real world has opened up to them in a sense.
Potentially. I think the other thing too is, how did the First Order get funded? Did they find Atten?
Mm-hmm.
You know, did they take the Republic credits and fund themselves that way? Like, is that how that worked? Potentially. I think the show did a great job at kind of leaving it wide open for a season 2. Because like we text, I think immediately, like after I saw it, I was like, yeah, this thing leaves you wanting more. Like, you're like, oh, is that it? Come on, like, let's get some more episodes in there. I was excited about it. I thought it was a good way to end it. I enjoyed the show a lot more than I really thought I would. I thought it was going to be for my kids. I put it in front of my kids. And my kids were like, no, I'm good, Daddy. I don't want to watch this. So I stuck it out. And it was really good. You know, I think there's like maybe one episode I was kind of like, filler. But like, for the most part, it was good.
But you know, these series, I don't care if it's Breaking Bad. I don't care if it's something as cinematic as that show was or is. Episodes that sometimes feel like fillers. I mean, that's a hard one for a Texan to say. Feel and fill, because we make those. We make those words the same. I may not have an accent per se, but I certainly have Texan in me. Born and raised, by the way.
You have a bit of an accent.
That's funny that you say that. I guess maybe from your perspective, I do. But I'm in New York, and people say, you're from Texas. You have a very neutral accent.
I think because people in New York think everyone's a fucking hillbilly outside. Oh, there we go. We're now R-rated.
One each.
I think they think everyone outside New York is a hillbilly.
All right. So filler episodes. So in retrospect, when the show's done, you say, okay, I see it had its place. I get it. Because this is about the I know it's a cliche, but it's in a weird way. I'd almost say it's the inverse of the saying. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, it's kind of almost more about the destination versus the journey, and then you look back and see how you got to the destination, and the journey itself becomes more clear. I don't know. It's kind of how I
enjoyed it. I mean, every episode, for what it was worth, was good. You know, I like the one where they're looking for the treasure itself. The secret hold, you know, that's now like a spa planet. Like, I really enjoyed that episode. I thought the way that they broke them all up and went hunting for stuff. I forgot what episode. That may have been episode 6 or 5 or something like that.
Whatever.
I thought that was a good episode. Like, actually probably my most exciting episode. You know, because they get there and then you start to really see Jude Law's, you know, Jod's true colors when he's like, can you fill up the tank with acid again? Because he hears everyone trying to get in, and he basically kills all those dudes that were trying to get into the hold, So like, and then I liked, kind of juxtaposing he didn't really want those things to happen. Like he didn't want to hurt the kids. He didn't want to hurt their families. He just wanted to get rich and like, live off the fat of the land, if you will. And you kind of get a little bit of that at the end. It's episode 8. And I thought that was well done. I think what I enjoyed most about this is that it's the furthest thing I think we've gotten from like a Skywalker stuff. And I've always, for the shows that you and I have done, I've always said it's time for us to move past the Skywalker saga stuff to a degree. Like, let's see other stories. And I thought this was the first time that we got something that was completely separate.
Yeah.
Andor is another one that's like completely separate, even more so than I think, because we got lightsabers and stuff like in the Force. In this show, we don't see any of that in Andor, and I think that's what makes Andor so special.
Not at all. It shows you a different. The timeline is the same. They're there in the peripheral. Yeah.
Well, Andor's before all of that, and then this is after.
Well, okay, but Andor's right before Rogue One that bleeds right into a New Hope.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And let's face it, there's even in Rogue One, oh my gosh, what is Leia's father's name?
Bail Organa.
Thank you, Bail Organa. And my Moth are talking, and she alludes to the fact that he knows a wise Jedi that's still around. Obviously, talking about Obi-Wan, so that means Luke is out there as a little boy, and all the you know the drill. Yeah. Well, I guess at that point he's not a little boy; he's a teenager. Yeah, because that runs right into it. Yeah, that's kind of a wicked timeline now that you say it out loud. But yeah, they're there. I agree. I think that what I like about the show is that it was a show that was truly geared for kids. And then it was an animation, and for me, live action is where Star Wars is at. That's the genesis of it. It's just what I prefer. I'll read a comic, I'll watch Clone Wars, whatever. I can enjoy it, but I always walk away just going, wish that was a live action thing. I don't know. It's just Star Wars to me. I don't always feel that way. Obviously, if I read a really great comic or a graphic novel or something that's in a bubble, I leave that alone. I guess maybe it's a mindset thing. Like that's where Batman came from.
Right.
I don't know. It's just me. I guess because to me, Star Wars was A New Hope. But I digress. But I like that it hopefully introduced some kids to the franchise. I don't all this talk about the streaming numbers. I don't know. These things
it went up. It went up every episode.
Yeah, and the bottom line is it's very cute. And when people say Goonies in space, that's a really good way to frame it.
It's 100%. There's so much of that. There's E.T. There's Stand By Me. All of the classic movies that kind of ring true to us as older generations that are like, you try to put your kid in front of those movies and they're like, what is this? Why are they?
And by the way, be careful putting your kid in front of Stand By Me, bro. My girls now are older. I did this like 3 years ago, and Harper she's 10. She was 7, and I was watching, going, "Oh yeah, this is rated R."
Is it really rated R?
Yes, yeah, man. And I forgot.
Dude, I watched that movie when I was.
I know. Well, we were.
Yo,
dude,
we're just built different.
I was watching Beverly Hills Cop in my house in 3rd grade. I get it, but
dude, I got in trouble. I got in trouble for watching RoboCop by myself. Like,
that's a graphic movie.
Blowing off Murphy's arms and his legs with shotguns.
Shot in Dallas, Texas. By the way, do you know that?
My Puerto Rican grandmother screaming at me in Spanish, telling me she's gonna tell my father because I found the VHS like tucked away somewhere, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie.
¿Se habla español?
Meanwhile, I was showing my kid The Dark Knight, like the first opening scene with the Joker, and my wife was screaming at me. They've got guns. They're robbing a bank. Blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? I'm like, it's fine. No one's really dying. And then all of a sudden, the clown shoots the guys on the roof. And I was like, oops. Okay, I'll turn that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, bringing it back to Skeleton Crew, it had all the cute tropes and,
It's
It was
just
good.
it's
There was like one scene
good.
where they jump into the tubes and they're like sliding down the water slides, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so Goonies. This is so
Totally.
Goonies. Not even funny.
Oh,
You know?
great. It's starting to rain, and rain around here F's up internet so bad. Let's just hope we can keep rolling. Okay. I just
Keep
want to
on
say
going, dude.
we'll just keep on going. I just want to say that in case something gets weird. All right. So overall, not overall. I just enjoyed it, man. It's great. Am I going to revisit this 1,000 times? I won't by myself, but I do hope to introduce Harper to it. By the way, one more time, I'm going to come back to something because we kind of lost it. Stand By Me is rated R. There's no nudity in it, but man, it's like
Crazy.
there's some language and some innuendo and like the dead kid at the end and all that stuff. It's just remember that. It's not how you might remember it. Especially when you're holding it to today's like cultural standards in a sense. But it also makes it more real because that's how me and all my boys, we were in Mesquite, Texas, running around fields and running off on our bikes and going on little adventures and looking for not necessarily a dead body, but certainly for
adventure,
trouble.
We were all, what was it? The kid's name, Wim. We were all little Wims looking for the, to be out there. I was out there like going like, I got to get myself a metal detector. I think there's like gold buried somewhere in my backyard. No, there wasn't.
Yeah, I remember those.
Find a fork.
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. We used to jump across rooftops in our neighborhood, houses that were close enough together where we could do it.
Yeah,
like just all kinds of.
Well, what's happening with today's kids? They don't do any of that shit.
Yeah,
anymore,
good.
No,
well, because yes, it is good. We don't need that.
Not,
yeah, some things are just better. Also, here's the deal: the in this world that we live in now, with everybody, like, dude, on my local Facebook, my neighborhood Facebook page, some kid came and like knocked on somebody's door and ran off on his bike, just being a little shithead.
Yeah.
That's all. They freaking posted on the page going, anybody see this kid? It's like, can you just? And that's why it's that kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
I just leave.
I get it. I get the same thing. I'm on the ring neighborhood thing, and it's like, this kid did ding dong ditch, and I'm like, whatever. Now there was one time though, I had put a bunch of old vases and glasses outside for recycling, and a kid rode by on his bike and kicked all this glass and broke all over my yard.
That's different.
Oh no, I found the kid.
No, that's different. That's actually damaging property. Or potentially getting someone truly hurt, broken glass. That's different. All right, so moving on. So Skeleton Crew, great fun. If they do continue this, they got to move fast. That's the danger or the problem when you have cute kids. Those cute kids already have aged since that show was filmed. And so, I think
that might be even more fun, honestly, if they're teenagers, like legit teenagers now, and they've become, estranged from each other. And it's almost like, do you remember that one summer when we kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
no, that's
to get back together.
But even then, they got to still move pretty quick. I mean, this stuff is time consuming.
I know.
That's all I mean. I mean, you look up and they're going to be 19 is my point.
I know. That's like Stranger Things.
Yeah. But I don't know.
The kids are like 30 now.
I lost interest in that show after like season 2.
Did you really?
But I think COVID hit around them too, right?
I
just derailed.
Stranger Things is great.
And then I just was into Mandalorian and Tiger King. Tulsa King. Tiger King. No, Tiger King.
Yes, the era of Tiger King. That's right.
Tiger King. Jesus Christ. Right. Man, that'll take you back. Funny that show had like a sequel, and I did not get into that. It was kind of a weird, fleeting thing. All right, so Skeleton Crew is great. Now let's talk a little bit more Star Wars. Hopefully, we'll get a season 2. I thought it was great fun.
Yeah.
I think there's some symbolism in there. You talk about Jude Law. Was he the crook or the pirate or the villain with the heart of gold?
Misplaced.
Maybe. Yeah, misplaced. Dude, I like one of the. I say this a lot about the Disney era of Lucasfilm. Is that to all the the haters out there, the thing that I love about modern Star Wars versus Lucas era Star Wars, and I love it all, but there's so much more nuance to characters now. Like it was quite literally black and white.
Yeah.
DOT. And even in the
prequel. Yeah.
That's right. And literally black and white. Vader's black and his stormtroopers are white and whatever. and but anyway, so but but the motivation behind, like, you really get it in Rogue One, of the, look at, well, we've done a lot of bad shit here. My
Yeah.
hands are dirty, like that kind of stuff. And I feel
Yeah.
like that you get that a lot, even in the sequel trilogy. There's a lot of that. There's certainly a lot of that in The Last Jedi. I mean, that's what Luke's whole story. Luke's whole story is the imperfections of the Jedi.
That's right.
The hubris. God, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's funny, man. There's a lot, and I think to that end, kind of, it's one of the main reasons why I really love the Last Jedi, and it also kind of comes to light here, which is like Jude Law's character was young and was in the gutter, and there was a Jedi that was on the run who thought he had potential, and like a Jedi still had hope, even though they were being chased down and hunted. And then he's like, and then I watched her get gunned, basically gunned down in the street, and I was left.
That's right.
Again. It's like, yeah, that's
the lady that picked him up, the Jedi. He had to watch her get murdered. That's my point.
Yeah.
So even in this kid's show, you get this nuanced thing, and I love the character of Kylo Ren and Ben Solo. All that stuff is great. Anyway, so moving on. All right, so let's shift gears here, but we'll stay on Star Wars. So there's some news. It feels weird talking about it because I feel like I'm contributing, or we're contributing to the roller coaster of all this bullshit.
The non-news news.
Just by discussing it. But before I get into the Rey stuff, let's talk about Sean Levi.
Yeah,
dead. Is it Levy or Levi?
I have no idea.
I've got friends with that last name, and I feel like they go by. It depends on how they pronounce it.
Yeah,
I don't know. But he obviously was Deadpool Wolverine, and looks like he's doing a standalone Star Wars film with Ryan Gosling. Okay. What I'm good with that. Whatever, just make something great. I don't give a shit. But only thing I don't like is I feel like it's being, or as I understand it, it's being green lit to happen. So it'll be the film after Mandalorian.
Right.
Which, to tie in to this next topic here, is
that Ryan Gosling shit is weird to me.
Well, he's fine.
It's weird to me, man. I don't know.
What you're saying? Are they desperately just saying we got a star for this film? Is that a Ryan Gosling film versus a? But is he really a box office draw himself? I mean, Barbie, but that was Barbie that sold that.
It's like Ryan Gosling.
He's a good actor, though.
I know he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the work that he's done.
I mean, Notebook was dope.
I don't know what it is. It gives me like the icky, like, oh, Ryan Gosling.
Well,
like, seriously?
I know, because it's kind of
like, they were like, oh, Henry Cavill's in a Star Wars film. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And he's nowhere near the caliber of Ryan Gosling in terms of acting. You know what I'm saying? But like, I guess the thing is, I don't really see geekdom in Ryan Gosling. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this is a chick play. They're gonna be like, we're gonna try to get as many girls into Star Wars as possible.
Did you see his Beavis and Butthead bit?
Yeah, hilarious.
Hilarious. That's funniest SNL skit in years.
They couldn't even compose themselves in that skit.
That's what made it so funny. It reminded me of the old Carol Burnett show, man. When Tim Conway, they would crack each other up. Part of what made that show so brilliant was that it wasn't even the content as much as it was watching them try not to.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's great. But anyway, Ryan Gosling. No, my only concern about it, if there's a concern, is this a Ryan Gosling Star Wars versus a Star Wars film that Ryan Gosling's in? And because I don't recall any Star Wars film ever where the star is a person, like one individual, like even in the Solo movie, which I could do without that film personally, but they picked a nobody, right, to play an iconic character, way too close to the timeline of A New Hope, which is why it didn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. I mean, you look at all the films. It wasn't like Forrest Whitaker in Star Wars. Forrest Whitaker's a bang up actor. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, and Forrest Whitaker's is attached to this emerging Star Wars film. You're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like, oh, Gary Oldman is part of a Batman film. You're like, this Batman shit's gonna be great. But it's like Ryan Gosling and Star Wars. I'm like, whoa, wait, what?
Well,
Huh?
and to be fair, this is just what we're seeing in Deadline and things like that. It doesn't mean that that's going to be how the marketing of the film
Yeah.
is gonna be. Um, all right, so anyway, so the Ryan Gosling thing is fine. By the way, it's my stepson's birthday, so there's a little ruckus down there.
No
I can't
worries.
nothing I can do about it. We're live, but anyway, so the Ryan Gosling thing, I'm fine with. Let's just see how they market it. I don't care. I'm a little concerned about the timeline for the Ray film because I want it to happen. And now they've got a new person attached to it. I got to pull his name up. I didn't know this guy. What's his name?
Dude, I don't even remember. You
Uh,
sent it to me. I was like,
yeah. Hold
fourth
on.
writer.
Well, yeah, but this guy
Fifth
did.
writer.
This guy did. Yeah. Hold on. George Nolfi. He did Ocean's 12, which is the second one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like all the three of those. By the way, I think they're clever, fun. I mean, that's a great trilogy.
I think I kind of stopped.
Oh, I like it. I mean, I don't know how that
Nolf.
ties into. I don't know how that ties into his ability to do a Star Wars film. I don't know. But then he also did the Bourne Ultimatum. I don't know that franchise, dude, at all. I've never watched one.
Yeah, I watched that.
So,
and he did the Adjustment Bureau. That's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal.
I like that movie. The Adjustment Bureau is fun. Yeah.
Can they just let this guy write this film? Obviously, there's been some sort of treatment. Otherwise, they wouldn't just greenlight it. And let's just get this thing on the road because the more this gets pushed back, the more unlikely that this happens, in my view. Obviously, that's just human nature. And I guess this is still.
I mean, what are you talking about, dude? What was it? Black Adam took 12 years.
Yeah, but this is Star Wars. That's different. That was something new. But this is now the Jedi Order film that's truly merged, or right? It's now episode 10 is now that film. It rolls into the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Those aren't separate, right? That's the plan. That's how I understand it. As it stands today on January 26, 2025.
And I mean, and for the record too, there are like 3 other projects. So you had talked about the Sean Levy or Levi, whatever, film with Ryan Gosling. We talked about Mandalorian and Grogu, and then there's the James Mangold like History of the Jedi or History of the Force, whatever that thing is called.
Yeah, but I don't think that
he's been working on.
Yeah, but I don't know where that's at in this. The films that are.
I heard more about that recently. I think I heard about that like 2 weeks ago. Someone bubbled that up.
I don't know, man. I think that the films that will likely get made, if they do, if Sean Levy gets Ryan Gosling and that's done, that film will get made. And then obviously we're getting Mandalorian. Hopefully that's great. And then if we can get this project rolling with episode 10, Ray, whatever, I think she deserves to come back. I would like to see more of her story. She's a compelling character. She's a great actress. Let's roll. I'm down.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about this before we did the show. I think if they're gonna here's the challenge I'm having with this. They need a showrunner. They need one person to orchestrate this film. This like trilogy, whatever this is going to be.
See.
You know what I mean? They need like a throat to choke, Okay. With the in and out of people, like that becomes less of a reality. I think in my mind, like it's, Sean Levi, whatever.
I think it is Levy now that I'm saying it out loud.
Levy. If it's him, is he the one that's gonna write all 3 of these movies? Is that what? He doesn't
have to write all 3 of these movies. George Lucas did.
Dude, I
understand.
I understand. Well, wait. Well, time out.
He didn't write them. He wrote the first one,
but with Lawrence Kasdan.
Well, he had the story idea and the premise, and I'm sure obviously.
But at least it was hit. There's no.
He was obviously heavily influenced. It's still George Lucas.
It's his. Yeah, but there's no.
He didn't write it.
Who is the person right now? You cannot say Kathleen Kennedy.
For what? To spearhead this?
Orchestrate.
I don't look. Okay. Once again, and I feel like I'm never going to stop saying this. We're so wrapped up in how the sausage is made. I don't give a shit. fine. Whatever works to make it happen. Just make 3 good films. I guess I'm alone on the world that I actually really love the sequel trilogy. Okay, fine. It didn't have a clear vision. All that stuff is just, to me, is more noise. I recognize there was a online backlash to The Last Jedi, and they certainly had to respond to that. But that happens with, I mean, dude, look at Jar Jar Binks in Attack of the Clones. The dude's barely in that movie. You think that was intended? No. When that character was made, he was going to be the sidekick cartoon guy and the whole freaking thing.
Well,
he was sidelined because Lucas, there wasn't even, Facebook or Instagram or, well, there's no Twitter now, whatever it's called. So whatever. Yeah, fine. I will say, obviously, have a cohesive idea where the story is going, and that can only serve the story well. I will say, if there's anything that, and we don't really know the true details behind it all. I would like to, but there is an interesting thing with the sequels, right? It's like you had J.J. Abrams' vision and story, then you had Rian Johnson's vision and story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those films complement each other personally. And I even like how JJ kind of wrapped it up with Rise of Skywalker. I'm good with it. But it's also, I get that it could have been tighter or better. It could have. To your point, sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, plan it like you're going to do a trilogy. Don't plan it like you're doing a movie part of a trilogy. If that makes sense. Like, think about the story, think about where you want your character to be at the end of it, because ultimately when you start to diverge from what people are expecting or like let's be honest, J.J. Abrams did himself no favors by leaving it on a cliffhanger and being like, Luke Skywalker's on this island. It had to pick, like, in every other film.
Force Awakens. You said Andor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I say Andor?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, Force Awakens ends up on a cliffhanger, which means in the first time in the history of Star Wars, we're picking up right after the last movie. You know what I'm saying? Every other Star Wars film jumped years ahead. You know what I mean? So the characters naturally progressed without us seeing them progressing. You know what I mean? They kind of just like stepped into their own. And now you're stuck in this cliffhanger thing. And then it's like, I got to answer that.
It's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? And you're kind of stuck now.
Watch and a great example of that, really, the whole OT. But if you go to Return of the Jedi and Luke comes into Jabba's lair.
Yeah, you're like,
oh, this is a freaking Jedi now.
Yeah, this guy's coming in with his fingers all with the hood up.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a very good point.
I'm saying so. I mean, I think that was hard, and then you got Johnson, who's basically like, you put me in a box and I'm breaking this box. That main character that's supposed to be like, Darth Sidious-esque, I'm just going to kill him. F it. We're killing him. Rey, that question, we don't need to answer that. She's a nobody. And I'm like, wow, these are things. Everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? What? Rey, nobody? What? Snoke is killed? What? Love? What? Rey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I say,
it was too much for two. And
I'll say this though. I've got
the Luke Skywalker. It's not my Luke.
I lived it with friends that go to see these movies, and we're going to see The Rise of Skywalker, and I've seen it at this point probably twice. I'm with these guys.
Yeah.
I call them the dads of where my girls grew up, and their friends' fathers. And every one of them, man, there's like 5 of us there, and afterwards we're having a drink or something after the movie's like, they're all like, man, I knew that Kylo was lying to her in The Last Jedi. Yeah. I knew that she probably wasn't actually nobody. They had to set that up for her. And I'm just listening to them going, how wonderful must it be to just enjoy these films like this? It's just the story to them is the story, and it's just the journey.
I get
it. It is. But damn it, it's impossible to do that when you have all this
mind-numbing
play-by-play and online bullshit. It's just right. Okay. All right, let's shift gears here a little bit on Star Wars.
I mean, and like you said, we're perpetuating it.
Well, yeah, we are, and that's
what makes it. That's why like people listening to us argue about this shit.
Well, it's like, as long as it's a good
how many people here want to see a Rey movie? That's a question I have. How many?
You know what? Here,
you guys really excited about a Rey movie?
Rick Rubin, who's an incredible music producer,
Oh
as you
man,
know.
what a name drop there. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great dude.
great dude. So he's got this.
Brilliant.
When people ask him, "Do you have the audience in mind when you're making a record?" He goes, "They're the last thing on my mind. In fact, they're not on my mind." Because he goes, and it's out of respect for the audience, because in order to serve the audience the best is that you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for the purpose of this piece of art, the music, and what moves you and what you believe in, and the collaboration between you and the musicians. And that's what matters. And then in the end, hopefully, obviously, the audience does love it, but they won't love it if we're trying to make it for them. And I'm paraphrasing and butchering, but I love that mentality. And maybe there's something to be said for this process. Okay.
I think to close that, that's the problem where Disney is at right now. They are making the movie for the audience.
Well,
they are making movies to
they
make
didn't make
money.
They didn't make the Acolyte for the audience. The Acolyte to me was kind of funny. It was like, oh yeah, F you trolls. And they just went all in. Not the greatest show on the planet though, by the way. I'm not really an Acolyte defender, but it wasn't garbage like some say either, but not something I'm not going to die on that hill. Yeah. All right, so a lot of Star Wars talk. Let's spend the next couple minutes here before we wrap up. I just want to throw this at you real quick. I always got to insert a little bit of Batman. I've got some concerns about this film being pushed back again. Now we're looking at a 2028 release for the sequel, and the first one came out in 21. And my concerns are is that if it gets made and it's great, I mean, cool. I hope that happens. I like the universe a lot, particularly after the Penguin, man. What a fucking tour de force that was. What a show. What a show, man. Colin Farrell got all the accolades he deserved to. The whole cast, everybody, the writing, just fantastic stuff. And I want to see more of it. And that's kind of also the problem I'm having with this is they're not able to capitalize on the goodwill of that show. You know what I mean?
No.
It's so, and there's not a story to tell with him in between unless it's a prequel, because you have to, at the end of that show, the way it ended, he has to be immersed in Batman's universe for that to work. And so we're just stuck now for 3 years. That's a long time, dude. And I think Matt Reeves is going through some personal stuff, a divorce or something. And I read this, and he's been, to my knowledge, he's been even semi-open about it. And I think they're just letting that run its course. But I don't know, man. What do you think? Are you concerned about this getting made at this point, or what?
Am I concerned? I'm not really concerned, honestly. Like, would I love a sequel to the Batman? 100%. Especially coming off of the Penguin, no doubt. But I don't think they as in like James Gunn and Peter Safran recognized how powerful the Penguin was going to be. That now they've kind of painted themselves into a corner because they had announced a Batman movie that needs to work in their universe, and clearly Matt Reeves' Batman will not work in the universe of the new Superman. I think a lot of it has to do with, yes, the personal stuff happening with Matt Reeves. Yes, he's got to nail the story, but I don't think he's in any rush to do it because he's like, yo, you guys kept me around here. You guys let me, let my company, whoever else, write and do the Penguin. And now it's like, it's huge and people are clamoring for that. But they need to be clamoring for Superman, because if Superman does not do well, all of this doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they need that movie they need to take the attention off of Batman and focus all that energy on Superman and making Superman work really well.
The creative forces behind the two, I don't think overlap very much. I mean, James Gunn is certainly
but from a studio perspective, like, it's still DC.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
I see.
They need
timing, branding, marketing.
That's huge. That's huge.
It's huge, and you're right. But I don't know. Does this postpone James Gunn's Batman? Does his Batman get introduced and overlap? Because the question I have, okay, so let's just say that Matt Reeves does indeed finish his trilogy, and let's just say there's 2 years between the second and third one. Not nearly the 5-6 year gap between the first two. Man, we're talking about like how many years? Let's see. Hold on, 2028. So 2030. So 10 years, basically 9-10 years. And
Yeah,
and the Dark Knight trilogy was 2005 to 8. No, 12.
No,
Yeah, it was.
2012. Yeah,
Yeah, 2012. Dark Knight Rises was 12.
Yeah, 2012.
So I guess in that sense, the timeline is not that much different. That's 7 years. Is that 7 years? Am I doing that math right? Wait, what am I saying?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's 7 years
7 years. And this is 10.
for a whole trilogy.
This will be 10 for a whole trilogy. Nine at the earliest, and that's
if
that's
he even gets his third, movie in, because I think that's less of a reality.
So, malfunction.
I don't think Matt Reeves gets a third movie.
So here's the no, I don't know if the second one does.
I don't think he gets a third movie. I really don't.
Well, here's the thing I have is James Gunn going to wait until 2030?
There's no way
to introduce his Batman, or will they just overlap? Everybody says there's no way he's going to do that. How the fuck do you know? In this day and age, I don't put anything past us doing that anymore. Like unheard of 10 years ago, but not so much now. I mean, it's just they're not going to come out at the same time. They wouldn't do that. I didn't mean, one film comes out in 2027 that has James Gunn Batman, then the Matt Reeves Batman movie comes out in 2028 with his. That I could see happening in this day and age. It's weird. But it's just where we're at with things now. I don't know.
At one point,
will James Gunn do it is the question.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing. At one point, there were like 3 different Joker type characters floating around. Ish. You had the Suicide Squad, okay, and that Joker who was attached to Harley Quinn floating around, right? So Jared Leto's Joker from the Snyder Cut and whatever.
Correct.
Then you had Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah, Matt Reeves' Joker.
Yeah, right. And then you had Matt Reeves' Joker. So they were all like, there's 3 different iterations, and that was like, but now granted that was before James Gunn came in. I don't know if he's gonna be like, I'm gonna confuse audiences with like Batman fatigue and whatever. That could be your thing. I think that the studio itself historically has over relied on Batman. There's been so many Batman films in comparison to the very minimal Superman films that we've gotten over time. They're leading with Superman. Superman absolutely has to kill it. Okay. If he does kill it, they're going to fast track a sequel. Okay. I think that's where you'll probably see a Batman pop up in that, at least his version of the Batman. So again, I think, you have Superman dropping this year in 2025. If it does really well, they're going to do, they've already got Supergirl is in production, I think.
Yeah, it's
right?
filming.
It's filming. So you've got all these things. I think you're going to see his Batman sooner than we think.
Maybe
that might be the reason why they're pushing this Matt Reeves Batman, is because they're going to have to introduce it in some capacity. You know what I mean?
Correct. Now, and here's the thing: this notion that we would have those universes combined. I know there's been some references. There's no way. Just watch the Penguin and imagine that in that Superman trailer. It's not going to be in that universe. They're just not going to do that. That would be. You might as well just call it something else, because it becomes something else if you do that. Yeah. But you talk about the studios rely on Batman. Okay, cool. But let's be real. Let's go down just real fast and we'll jump. The Batman films that worked. I mean, like from a box office, from the projections, from the goodwill, from hey man, this thing needs a sequel. Here's my opinion, and I think I'm right. 89 for sure. Batman Forever for sure. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight worked, and they warranted their third film, The Dark Knight Rises. After that, not anything other than the Batman itself. So none of the Affleck stuff, not Batman Returns, not Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. None of those serve their purpose. I'm saying those 89, Forever, the Holy Trilogy, and the Batman. Those are the films that have.
Are you telling me this from box office? The Batman Returns didn't make more than Batman 89?
Well, no, it did not make more, but it also the studio said we can't keep going down this road. We can't sell Happy
Right.
Meals with this penguin, and this just got real super freaking weird, man. This is
Mm.
not even, I mean, obviously, they booted him out, they pushed him out. Keaton, I mean, Batman Forever exists because it was a reaction to the negative reaction to Batman Returns.
Right.
The Nolan films exist because of how incredibly goofy Batman and Robin got.
Yeah.
Et cetera. And then the Affleck stuff is what it is. It was not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but think there's been a Batman for every generation. There's not been a Superman for every generation.
And I recognize that Batman versus Superman made a lot of money. By the way, I get it.
Oh yeah, I made like 800 million, something like that.
Right, but it's still underperformed by those
standards. No, for sure.
At that time, that film with that lineup should have been $1 billion plus.
Hell yeah! In comparison to the Avengers,
it just should have been. Batman and Superman on film for the first time, dude. Live action.
They had the Trinity. They had
the two most visually iconic superheroes of all time. Come on,
right? With Wonder Woman, it didn't do shit.
Probably all around the world, mind you.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, look. First of all, Matt Reeves seems like a cool guy. I hope whatever he's going through personally, he comes out the other side a better person. I hope he finishes his story. I want to see it. But it's a real bummer, man. 2028, it's a long time, bro.
Yeah.
That's
well, and the other thing too is like, he was going in the direction of like introducing, at least rumored, Clayface and stuff. But then now they're making like a Clayface movie. You know what I mean? So now he's got like, I got to reshuffle my thinking there. I get it, dude. And look, it's a tricky spot to be in because he's coming from an old regime. He may have been contracted to do that. So they've got to fulfill that. And it's in direct competition to whatever it is that James Gunn is trying to do as well. So it's like, I don't know, whatever.
I agree.
I hope we see it. If we don't, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it.
I don't know what to think anymore, dude.
Even off of the success of
this day and age, things are so crazy in this industry, and then the way films are made, the way things are budgeted now, the way that the DVD release doesn't give them a second life or a potential second life, so it's just so much more risky.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there. The fatigue of everything. I mean, I hope Captain America does well. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to support it. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't look great to me, though.
I think it looks all right.
Don't get me wrong. I don't. The movie could be fantastic. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just a little concerned about it. Just I don't know. There's something that seems off about it. But man, that means nothing. Great trailers can be shitty movies, and shitty trailers can be great movies. Happens all the time.
Yeah, look at that Transformers 1.
I mean, happens all the time. All right, so let's wrap this up. So, I'm not even considering you a guest anymore at this point. We're rebranding this thing. We've been crazy stuff with our personal life and work. We're gonna meet next week and finalize this logo. I think this Yeehaw Yankee show. Did you see that thing I sent you with the Brady Bros?
Yeah, it's cool. I like the way it looks.
See, let me see if I can put it,
cartoon heads.
Yeah, it's maybe something like that for us. See, can you guys see that? That's the Brady Bunch actors, and they have this like giveaway thing on Instagram. But I like the logo; it's fun. Maybe we do something like that.
I mean, they were part of the Brady Bunch, so they've got.
And I've got. I mean, dude, if I'm going to be the Yeehaw, it's got to be Ricky Joe. I should use it. It's my name.
It is Ricky Joe.
Ricky Joe, dude. I used to have belt bugs that said Ricky Joe on it. Damn it.
With chaps, there goes that accent. He's belt bug Ricky Joe.
Mesquite, Texas. Dude, there's a video of me from our high school yearbook, and I'm like, "Hi, this is Ricky Shew. I like Kiss and Motley Crue and Van Halen," and it's so funny, dude. I'm like, man, I really sounded like that. It was when I got into collegiate theater that I had a theater professor. We're shaking that shit, and I had a FCC license. I was a certified literal DJ through 88.5 KEOM, which is a Mesquite Independent School District FM station. I'm assuming it's still there, I guess. But and I was shaking it a little bit my senior year in high school as I did the show from 4 to 5 after school. But I was still Mesquite Independent School District. I mean, I was still, you didn't have to really get rid of it. But when I go and dude, I did my first college play was oh man, like one of those. Which one was it? One of those like Neil Simon, or which one was it? A View from the Bridge. That one. who's the playwright on View from the Bridge? Oh my gosh, this stuff's just leaving me a little bit. Some of the classic, like
Age.
But anyway, all that stuff that was coming out in American theater in the 1950s, man, was all set in New York, dude.
Yes, you had to
all of that shit was set in New York.
You had to scrub your twang for a little bit.
They were in the Bronx, they were in Manhattan, they were in whatever. And I did, and I had to learn to talk like a New Yorker, and that's when I was able to start to shed it. And then I look up, several years later, and I feel like there's remnants of it, but it's not. Told you this before. Do you get on the phone with my dad? That's how I used to sound. Hey, boy, what's going on? When you coming in town? Let's go grab a burger somewhere. How's that sound? Does that sound contrived?
That's pretty good.
I'm not Matthew McConaughey. That dude just kind of has sounded like himself he's got to have worked on that, bro. Guy's been around.
But I think it's
part of his
thing,
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Yeehaw and Yankee Show. How do we exit this? You're not a guest anymore. We're co-hosts. This is weird. Do we just say? How do you? Where are we at these days?
I mean, I'm on Blue Sky. You can check me out there. It's Allure of 25. But yeah, we'll create a handle. All the things.
I like that app. I do. The only thing about that app I would say is that I didn't honestly realize how literal that name was. Like, it is kind of like, I don't want to get into politics on this show or anything, but it is truly like this kind of left-leaning bubble app. And I just wanted to leave because X just became too gross and toxic. But you know what I mean? So, but I left
Facebook too. I was like, I'm going to Facebook.
My wife left Facebook. I'm still there just because of some family stuff and high school friends. Like, if I unplug that, I do unplug a lot of people in my life, and I don't want to necessarily unplug all those people.
I was just saying, guys.
Yeah, no, I know, I got it. I get it. It's just but I don't know how much longer I have there.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm over Zuckerbro.
Yeah, I know, but it's a conversation for another day. But anyway, I would like that app to be, in the pop culture realm. Like, I want this to have a variety of different views. And by the way, it's not monolithic. It's not like people that are maybe left leaning have this one view of Star Wars or something. I don't know. I think I would like the app to be a little bit more interesting.
That's a reaction to people not wanting to hear or participate in something else. That's what.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, man, we don't have to go so. The pendulum just swings too far both ways, man.
Yeah,
that's a fact. I'll leave it at that. But we're over on Blue Sky. Yes, we're Facebook. We'll figure out something where we promote the show. But I'm looking forward to it, man. It's long overdue. We're gonna rebrand a little bit. But how do we exit out of here? You got something to say? Say it. Let's bolt.
I ain't got nothing else to say than just to hit us up. Tell us what you guys want to hear more of. Engage. I think that's the biggest thing that I always ask for is like, engage with us. Like, engage us up on Blue Sky. Yeah, if you guys want us to get into other stuff, like, Rick and I can talk a mean game around Rocky.
That's right. All kinds of stuff. And I still also want us to be booking great guests. And there's some people that I've had in my back pocket that I hope will still agree to come on. Chris McKay, I think will still come on. The guy that directed Lego Batman. I've been with him before. I've got a direct contact with him. I've talked to Darth Maul himself. Maybe I shouldn't jinx it by putting that out there, but Mr. Ray.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll see. Again, let's knock on wood here. All right. I got to get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. The Yeehaw and Yankee Show with Reed Joe and Aaron Virola coming soon.